G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on, let me check, Gorge. I was a little bit unsure at first. I was like looking at the biome, I'm like, this kind of looks like it's dry Arabia, but then you have a look up here and you can see that it's kind of going up. Anyway, welcome ladies and gentlemen. We're here for a casted game. And of course, this is one of EGC's Master of Realms games. So go check them out. I'll leave a link in the description. Let's get into it. Spawning in on the south side of the map in the color red, playing as the Malians. It's Wham-O-1. And in the north side of the map in the color yellow, playing as the Ayyubids, it's Vortex. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gorge. It is a pleasure to have your company today for one of EGC TV's Master of Realms games. Now, this is getting to the pointy end of the tournament, so if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead, check out EGC TV over on Twitch. I'll leave a link in the description there, starting this weekend, 15 GMT. So you might want to go say g'day. Saturday and Sunday. Let's get into it. Let's talk about this matchup. Malians, Ayyubids. Typically, Ayyubids looking for that fast castle, wanting to try and get up there nice and quickly. Of course, they've received some nerfs recently, but that doesn't stop them. One other thing to note is that the Malians do have a couple of weak points here, so we're going to be looking out for any kind of harassment that they can force onto the pit mines, especially pit mines that are out a little bit further. So we'll keep an eye on that, and let's talk a little bit about the state of the meta of the game and what we can expect. So coming up from Vortex, there's a couple of options, but most typically you'd expect to see the military wing coming out for him. We'll be keeping a very keen eye on his age up, of course. I think the last Ayyubid game that we caught, we didn't catch. I know there's a lot of courts, right? Courts and catch. We didn't catch his age up. He was very, very sneaky and aged up so quickly I didn't even realize he'd done it. Or at least the Ayyubid player. I can't remember if it was Vortex or not. Anyway, yeah, I'm curious to see where this one goes. Now, for the Malians, I'm going to be looking for the use of the Musafati. The Musafati is one of those units where you've got to be so careful playing up against it. The Musafati obviously can go stealth. Maybe not very obviously, that's part of the reason why it's so stealthy. But we do have a bit of a force drop-off right here. Have we got the Vils doing a force drop-off? We do. It's enough. The age up comes through. It's going to be the military wing. No real surprise here. A standard opening. It's been standard now for the Ayyubids for like... They've been out for 8 months, so I'd say about 7 months this has been standard. I remember the first time I saw this age up, and I was looking at it, and I was like, in my head doing a tier list for it. I'm like, this is not a good age up. Like, surely everybody takes the 300 wood over this, right? It's like, I don't think I've ever seen one professional player take 300 wood, except for Salami on the very first day of playing it, and he was like, it's kind of good that you can get a town center up at 4 minutes, but do you really need a town center up at 4 minutes? I was like, that's a good point, Salami. I don't think so. But then somehow this has managed to make its way through. Of course, when it comes to the castle age, expect to see growth, which will provide 7 villages. Extra nice. All right, Mensa Quarry now in the front of the base, slowly but steadily coming up 4 villages on this age up for him. Kind of curious to see exactly what direction Wham goes, whether we've got just a standard cow boom or whether it's going to be something a little bit different. And it does look like it is going to be a cow boom, just judging by the fact that we've got a mill coming out already. Either that or he's planning to go into an early wheelbarrow, which I think we could probably justify here, especially considering that gold trickling into him. 87 gold a minute. He's got the resources in the bank to do it if he wants. He's now going to throw down, have a look at this, the mining camp as well as the house, round out this whole shebang here. Could just look to start making cows instead. For only 90 gold. Jeez Louise, that feels good, doesn't it? Only 90 gold to pay for 500 food. And it's very quick to gather. That's the other thing to note. Got a little bit of a frog in my throat. You'll have to excuse me. I do have my Red Bull with me this evening. Probably shouldn't be drinking Red Bull, but it's like 1 a.m. in the morning, and I figured, you know what? when I left Australia before the Philippines, it was like my goal to finish everything that was in the fridge. I made the mistake of buying like 2 cases of Red Bull a couple of days before we left. Some people say it's a mistake. Other people say it was an intentional play by me, and I may have told a porky or two to my wife. We'll have to wait and see how that one plays out. But the point is, there's plenty of Red Bull, fellas. So we're going to be drinking it up. That is for sure. Desert Raider now going to be coming out. Both players aging up within seconds of each other. It's a couple of games now that we've seen these players age up very, very close to each other. But meanwhile for Vortex, it does look like it's just going to be that standard castle age attempt for him. 3 vills on wood could indicate that there will be an outpost coming down shortly. We'll check back in with Wham and see what the plan is for him. It's going to be an archery range. Keep in mind, he will know that the Desert Raider is coming out. We'll spot it out with the scout here. We can actually see from his line of sight. Ooh, maybe he doesn't know. Maybe maybe his spider senses are tingling a little bit. Now, how's he doing on sheep? He's still got 8 sheep. Throws the archery range down at the back. I feel like he's probably seen this and he's just moved back to somewhere a little bit safer. Now, where's the secondary gold mine that's coming up? And there it is. There it is. It's going to be over on this western corner. That's where he's going to be looking to throw down this next pit mine. Of course, we'll be looking to gather up a bit of gold. But of course, Vortex, he ain't no slouch. He knows exactly what the plan is from Wham. And he says, Wham, I'm not going to let you do that. So naturally, he rallies to almost directly where that villager is. Very interesting. Very interesting decision. But of course, very good players. So naturally know what the enemy is going to be doing. Because, you know, when it comes to Age of Empires, it's a little bit like chess in the regard of, you know, you can predict what your opponent is going to do, and you know what your opponent is going to do because you would do it, right? Like, that's how good these players are. So obviously Vortex knows, okay, well, Wham's lost the gold here. He knows he can't gather from here. So he's probably going to be looking for that secondary pit mine. Like, he doesn't even come down here to check. I mean, he did just check it with the scout, but he goes up towards that top side because he knows it wouldn't be a smart move to come down here because the running distance would be too short. So he just goes for the top side instead. A really smart move. Javelin thrower now going to be coming out as well here. Do see that Desert Raider. Keep in mind the Desert Raider is a ranged unit, so will get countered by the Javelin thrower. Not a whole lot of damage done though. At least it doesn't feel like a whole lot of damage done. What's he lost? He's lost 24 health so far. Looks like the Desert Raider will be able to take out the Javelin, but the second one has now arrived. I was going to say arisen. It has arisen. Man, I've been making up a few words lately. I'm almost like Donald Trump with my kofifi. Was that what he said? Kofifi? They were the good times. You remember that? When people were texting on the toilet too much? Kofifi. Anyway, we're back. Over in reality here, it looks like it's going to be just your standard barracks archery range Donzo Javelin thrower opening here. This is pretty standard for the Malians, right? No, this is something that I find so difficult to deal with. Like, how do you beat this, right? Because on one hand, it's very safe. One town center, I'm just making a racks, I'm making an archery range off one TC, so I'm not really risking it. On the other hand, I'm also playing into my economy because I'm pushing my passive gold up slowly but steadily through my pit mines. And then I also have the ability to flex a boom if I need to through the cows, which of course we always need to, we always want to. So it's a very safe, and the other thing to note is that the boom is very low barrier to entry, right? Like, you're essentially training a villager, but you're only paying 50 wood for that town center rather than 750 resources. Obviously a cow, it's not a villager. It's a lot different. Most importantly, it infinitely gathers resources. It gathers them slightly slower though. If you check the villagers, it doesn't say how much they're gathering, but I assure you it would probably be... Actually, let's check before we forget. Oh, there we go. Just as I saw that, I said, okay, I need to remember. There we go. So it is going to be providing that little bonus. There we go. So 8 villagers going to be coming through here. Yeah, I think the big thing to note though is that this is just such a safe little build order. It's so, how do you deal with it? I mean, you could put on early aggression, but the thing is, as soon as the aggression comes, then the Malian player says, okay, well, if you're going to be aggressive, that's fine. I'm just going to start making more units. But I think that Wham knows exactly what's up here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Wham start to make a few more units. Looks like he might even be thinking about going up himself towards that castle age. It does have everything filled in around both of these pit mines. We'll check in over on that northeast side of the map. Age up about to come through. There you go, look at that. Rallies all the villagers over to wood now. And now it begins. The mosque immediately thrown down. Have a look how many vills he's got on that. It looks like about 5 vills that he's got there. Slowly but steadily getting that mosque up. I say slowly, it's not really. Age up time, decent. Before the 9-minute mark, which is always important. Dervish now in queue. Will be rallying out, probably down towards this relic first. I think is most likely where Vortex will be going. But do see the 3rd Desert Raider has now arrived as well, joining the initial ones. Nice little control. And one thing to note though is Wham has definitely concluded, you know what, I don't need more units, I just need to get to Castle Age himself. Or myself rather, because I'm speaking from the perspective of Wham. So I think from how does Wham play this out? Because the push-off that's about to happen from the Ayyubids should be a fair bit faster than the push-off that is about to happen from Wham. Or at least in my mindset, that's the way it is. But he should be able to survive it as long as Vortex doesn't press the issue too much, right? Like, as long as Vortex doesn't get in his face. I think the fact that Vortex is taking the relics is going to slow down that push quite a bit. So you can see that only now is he putting down the archery ranges. So I suspect, is he going to be moving into archers here? Is that the play? I mean, it'd be dangerous to go into archers. Probably just makes more sense to go into crossbows, right? Let's have a look and see. No, he's going to go into archers. All right, doesn't have any upgrades. Of course, not playing the Abbasids. He is playing the Ayyubids. So he's not going to have access to things like composite bows, not going to have access to military... I want to say boot camp. There we go, boot camp. I got it. All right, so first relic has been picked up. It's just going to be the central relic that he's gone for, so not opting for that far one just yet. Camel Lance is also coming out onto the field. You can see that he does have that secondary dervish now coming through, looking to pick up. He's going to go with 4 out of the 5 relics. If he can pick it up, he'll be happy. Grand Fulani Corral about to come online. He's got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 cows. I don't think he's got space for the last set, which is kind of sad, but I mean, he's still getting pretty decent value off this. 86 food a minute for 3 cows, not too bad, especially considering that now gets buffed up an extra 20 food per minute. So each one of those cows is making a huge amount of food, more than a villager right now. So Wham is essentially sitting on, like, you've got 37 vills that are coming through here, but the reality is that he's on about 52 vills, and that's going to go up by another 3 here with the cattle ranch, just because this food, it's crazy the amount of food that is trickling into him. We'll switch it over to income per minute now that we're 11 minutes through. And Wham has managed to find a little bit of a window here, not only just to age up, but he's got units coming out. The fact that Vortex has taken a little bit of a pit stop at the relics, definitely to me seems like it could have been a bit of a mistake. Mangonel does come out, or Manganique rather. Now, it does make sense to pick up relics after you've gone Castle Age, but my fear is that, like, this was your timing. You could have definitely got some pressure on right now and looked to put some hurt on towards that gold vein. Maybe. I don't know if that was really the window to justify, but Wham's in a good spot here. I'm curious to see how Vortex plays against this. All right. Slowly now, the number of units begin to build up. Manganique is out. Javelin throwers teeing off towards the enemy position. He's got to be so careful with this Manganique. Have a look at this. Slowly rolling down the hill. Relic now. I think he's going to be able to pick it up just simply because the dervish, he's too quick. He's too fast. He's too fast for you. Now those numbers starting to really build up here. Camel Lancers. He's up to 4. You can see so bad. The javelin from the Donzo manages to get... Oh, that is so painful. Manages to take out that dervish. Manganique now. Keep in mind, the Manganique has really, really good coverage when it comes to siege. So, like, sieging down this pit mine is going to get really good coverage on all of this. Oh, he could take out... Oh, he's just going to go for the cows. So smart, taking out the cows. And this was the kind of pressure that I was talking about. But I guess Vortex has done the right thing in going to pick up those relics has meant that he now secures the long game as well. I mean, I say he secures the long game. There's a lot of passive income coming through from Wham, though. You got to remember that. So the long game still may sit with Wham. But slowly and steadily, that Manganique rolls in. Springold's now looking to do some damage here. Manganique's got to wake up. Manganique has woken up and says, well, hold on a minute. Springold, I heard the shot come, but I didn't see the shot come. Cavalry falling back. Numbers are decent here. Vortex has got a pretty solid mass of archers. And archers make sense here against the javelin thrower just because you can get so many archers out, right? Like, the javelin thrower is doing a lot of overkilling, and you don't really want that. So I guess the alternative is that Wham goes into archers himself, and that's exactly what he's doing. So really smart call here from Wham. I love the Springold from him as well. Makes a lot of sense to be going into. And now down on the south side, that relic will get picked up. So it's going to be 5 relics to 0. Now we can start working on those sacred sites, continuing to pump out units. We only see the 1 town center for now. I'd love to see a second or even a third town center added in for Vortex just to try and secure the late game a little bit more. I don't think it's really possible up against the Malians to do damage here on 1 TC, right? Like, how does it possibly work here? Like, Wham is just pumping. If anything, the balance of power almost sits with Wham at the moment. But Vortex is going to be opting for a little bit more siege, so definitely playing a bit more all in at this stage. Slowly, though, the numbers continue to build, adding in more and more units. Walls up towards the north side of the map. Military numbers relatively even as well. 60 military population against 55 military population. So where do they go from here? And we still don't see any sign of that second TC. But one thing to note, though, Vortex is, in fact, on the stone. But with this many vills on stone, this could definitely be a keep that is coming. And if you're going to be going for a keep, I mean, you need... playing up against a keep, you're going to need at least a mangonel to try and deny it, or a trebuchet to deal with it. So there's the potential that he could look to throw a keep down here, but I'd be more tempted thinking about this top side. Getting a keep up here on these 2 gold veins could be really big. Now those sacred sites going to start trickling in as well. That's the first one coming online for Vortex. Slowly mangonel, shot downhill. Not going to be able to find it. Slowly looming. You can see just how important it is for Wham to take this fight at the perfect angle. Can't let those mangonels get any shots in. He's got a single shot from the Springald. We'll have to fall back. A couple of little straggler archers coming through. More Springalds coming out from Vortex. He's going to need a response. There's the second Springald. He's taken shots, though. Big damage coming in the middle of that I was going to say that pack. I guess it is a pack. Big pack of archers, Springalds. Nice trade. Manages to keep his own Springalds alive. Gets pushed a little bit too far forward. Might lose a couple of cows here. Worst case scenario, he's going to have to rebuild the pasture. It is, or the cattle ranch rather, it is slowly burning down. Ville's moving out. You can see how much he wants to get this bad boy back online. But now, Mangonel's firing off towards the front. He's got the double Mangonel. Springald here as well. Slowly but steadily, the numbers. Oh, he's gone over the top with the mango. Beautiful control from Wham. Second Springald has been evaporated. Now he's only got that mangonel left. Another shot comes in, able to dodge it once again. Vortex losing out everything on that front line, losing the back line completely. Only that mid line is left. Vortex has 38 archers in the back, and that is it. So my question here is, where does Vortex go? So he did drop that second TC. That is going to be where he went, and that makes a lot of sense. I would love to see a third TC here, though. I guess the other issue is that you're up against an opponent. You've just pushed him, and he is absolutely blown your army out of the water. That was well microed by Wham. I don't think he made a single micro mistake in there, with the exception of that one mango shot that just hit absolutely everything right here. That was about it. Other than that, everything looked very crisp. He was able to take out the mangonel, or the Springald, before his opponent was able to get the shot off. That was pretty nice. I'd love to go back and watch that and see exactly what happened, but I think it might have just been a case of Vortex not paying attention. It might have been the first one being covered by the second one. Like, Vortex was right-clicked onto this Springald, and this Springald was running back, and then this one managed to get the shot off, and he didn't see it. I think that's probably what happened, because he didn't take any damage, and we didn't hear a shot come off from him either. Sacred sites now being contested on the northern front. Plenty of Donzos out here as well. 17 Donzos, more than enough to one-shot any unit from range. Archer numbers continues to build. But Vortex, you've got to be careful, my friend. You are playing a dangerous game. With this many archers, you are asking for a potential mangonel. And of course, Wham is not the kind of guy to forget about mangonels, that is for sure. But now a little bit of a raid comes in. No villagers lost this game, or no villagers lost until the 17th minute. I'll say that much, because 2 vills do manage to go down here on the gold vein. Towards that top side, the sacred site has been neutralized, but we do see Vortex now looking to capture it once again. The walls for Wham slowly coming up, and I got to say, I love these walls. Not only do they make you just feel safer, they also give you a little bit more time to react to any attacks that are coming, any raids. You know, instead of the raiding cavalry coming through and just immediately starting to torch down houses or kill villagers, now all of a sudden they've got to get through these walls, and it gives you more time to get in position. But that sacred site now is going to start ticking for us. 18 minutes into the game. Get your stopwatches out. Well, you don't really need to, because we do have that timer up. You guys remember the good old days when we didn't have the timer? I mean, technically in FFA we still don't have the timer, but there were some good old days back there where we didn't even have it in 1v1. Jeez, they were some tough days, we'll say that much. But we could always tell how many sacred sites there were on the UI, and that was important. All right, neutralization coming through. And don't be worried about this. Don't be fussed about this. This isn't sacred site victory really approaching. This is just, I've taken a nice little catch right there. This is just, I've taken all the sacred sites because I want to generate some passive gold. That's pretty much it. And yeah, at this stage, it's this is exactly what he expects. All right, we have a development. It looks like Vortex. I suspect Vortex might actually be playing the siege game here. Very dangerous to be doing this against the Malians, though. Malians have access to a lot of great technologies in the Castle Age, especially technologies that upgrade their archers, including poisoned arrows. So it means that you're fighting against archers that are pretty damn good, right? And like we've talked about it earlier, you're not playing the Abbasids, you're playing the Ayyubids, which means you don't have access to compos, you don't have access to boot camps. So your archers are just stock standard archers. They're not really those big hitters that you can expect from the Abbasid dynasty. So I kind of like where these archers are coming through from Wham, and I also want to just say that this is a really nice composition to be running. Full archer, as just a couple of donzos or spears, and then just a lot of springalds as well to back them up. We can see at the moment there's 3 springalds out for him, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple more on the way. How are we doing on scouting? If we have a look, I don't think he knows the exact composition of the enemy army or exactly how many siege units there are. He sees the mangonel, falls back immediately, and probably knows to throw a couple more springalds in queue when you see that mangonel, because that tells you, hey, my enemy's reinvested into siege. A couple more walls up towards the top side. In fact, the first walls... Oh, gosh, we're missing the fight now, Drongo. Hold your horses, mate. Gulam pushing forward. Slowly, but steadily. Gulam's going to be copping a lot of damage here. Mangonel's very far behind. More springalds are now in queue. Keep in mind the one mangonel is on the field now for Wham. Done a little bit of a misclick. No, he's just going to try and open up this gate a little bit. We do see up towards the top side. Scout working its magic, and the raid's coming through. It's going to be the Donzos looking to cause some havoc. Musofati also going over towards the gold mine. Wham is starting to put it into turbo mode. Now, the defense is getting mounted. Might have to move these villagers on out. I don't know how much he's got left on that gold vein. 1,500, but they're in a bit of an awkward spot here. 4 units inside the outpost. Vils are going to have to go for a run. He's told them where to go. And it's so hard fighting inside all of these houses. It makes it so damn difficult when you're fighting in these houses because the pathing doesn't work the way that it should. But have a look at this. Once again, Stealth Musofati looking to try and make their way up to the front. They're just going to instead try and intercept a couple of camels by the looks of it. Springs firing off. Able to get off some decent shots here. It looks like it's going to be a 2-on-2 on the back line. No, it's a 2-on-1. Manages to keep 2 of his own springalds alive. And once again, we will see Wham victorious in the siege war. Archers trying their best to tee it off. 3rd, 4th springalds coming out. Mangoes looking for some shots. Not going to be able to find it. Getting absolutely broken by the pathing. One of them is picked off. Second one gets picked off. And now it's Archer versus Archer. And all you've got is poison arrows versus absolutely nothing on the other side. And this is why you're playing a dangerous game, Vortex. You can't be doing this against someone with better archers than you. It just doesn't make sense to me. Let's bring back in that UI. Let's take a look and see where these two are at right now. At the moment, the villager count is in favor of Vortex, but keep in mind, Wham is pushing it. He's got not only those pit mines, but he has the cows online as well. Obviously, Vortex has got the passive gold coming through from the relics, as well as multiple sacred sites. So, slowly and steadily, things move more in favor of Wham 01. All right, let's take a look and see how this one goes. As more and more... Look at the amount of damage he's able to put in here. Mangonel coming out. Wham's got to be really careful. Wham's got to be really careful. Wham's got to be really careful. Mangonel does some great damage right there. It's not enough to turn the tides, but definitely enough to force Wham back from this fight. Now, I think a big thing right here could be Imperial Age, right? If we see an Age 4 come through, this could be massive because... You might be looking at this huge mass of archers and thinking, okay, if Vortex can get Imperial Age, can we just double check that he's not going imp? Okay, he's not. You never know with the way that the Ayyubids work and their hidden age up. But if he goes Imperial Age, oh, excuse me. If he goes Imperial Age here, what that allows him to do is not just upgrade his archers, but upgrade his springals. Roller Shutter Triggers is the go-to here. If he can get Roller Shutter Triggers in, that's going to mean that he can take out enemy siege before the siege can respond to him. And then on top of that, he can then utilize his mangonels much more than his opponent can. And of course, we already mentioned the fact that he could upgrade his regular old unit. So getting that age up through would be absolutely huge for him. But by the same token, if we see it on the side of Wham, though, I mean, I look at the economy and I think, I don't know if he can really justify it. But then you got to remember, we're not really comparing the pair right now because the economy for Wham is a lot of passive income. Let's take a look and compare them. 2K, 3K, 3.2K, somewhere around that region. Meanwhile, on the other side, 3.8K for Vortex. So a huge advantage at the moment for Vortex. About 20-25% larger economy compared to his opponent. So definitely worthwhile. We now start to see those Musofati making their way through the one wall segment that was never built, never complete. I mean, technically this one also... It was technically built. It wasn't completed, though. And that's where they get through. So very nicely played there. Sacred Site neutralized once again. More Musofati coming through. Wham. I mean, we talked about it earlier. I specifically said the one unit that I feel needs to be highlighted here is the Musofati. The secret, stealthy warrior of the Malians. Of course, the Musofati. Mangonel firing off. Beautiful shot right into the center of all those archers. A single mango. Don't tell me he gets another one. Don't tell me he gets another one. He gets another one, but they do have a little bit of a split going in. He's got to be careful. Keep going to be coming up on the backside. Wham, going to be able to defend from the keep. Needs to be careful of the mangonels. I can't stress how careful he needs to be at this stage. Springles, so many Springles, so many Springles. Have a look at the amount of Springles that are coming out from Vortex. This is what he needed on that last push. On the last push, if he had this many Springles, he just wins the game because the mangonels are able to just siege down everything. Well, not siege them down, but kill everything. But this keep right here, this is a pivotal keep. This is part of the reason that when I play the Chinese, I love going Imperial Age. And if anything, this is almost telling me Wham's about to go Imperial Age. This keep is going to allow him to survive until Imperial Age right here because you can't get this keep down. You don't have the resources to take this keep down. It is too strong. And if you try and fight under this, you will be hurt. You will be punished. He is looking to try and fight under it, but quickly makes the right decision. He falls back, and there's the Griotbara now coming down. Let's take a look and see. No, it's going to be Fortress of the Hunt, Fort of the Huntress, Fortress of the Huntress. You guys get the picture. Let's take a look and see if we can spot where it is. I mean, he's got Musafatis that are back here. He's taken down the secondary town center. Vortex has also lost a lot of workers at this stage as well. So he's done a really good job. This is a twofold defense. Not only do we have the keep on the defense, but we also... Where is this? There he is. Fort of the Huntress. Just wants to go a little bit more defensive. But yeah, we have the two-prong defense. The Musofati together now from the Malians with the age up into the Imperial Age. So the big upgrades I'm going to be looking for here are roller shutter triggers. I want to see that clicked immediately from Wham. That's going to be really important. The other upgrade that we're going to want to see, obviously, it's Elite Archer, a really important upgrade. He's got plenty of resources in the bank. There we go. It's going to be Elite Musofati that he goes into. That's how confident he is with the Musofati. Now, keep in mind, he's making Musofati up against an enemy who's got 73 archers, and Archer does counter the Musofati very, very effectively. But now, more and more units slowly making their way out here. Wham is maxed 195 out of 200. Vortex also maxed 199 out of 200. Still no roller shutter triggers though. To me, that's the most confusing part because like the moment I'm aging up, I'm hitting that button. And we're not seeing that here. Is there going to be room here for Vortex to age up? Let's take a look and see. Nothing yet. What's he spending his resources on? Is he just... He's not just queuing it up. Have a look at this. 8 Springles. There's the roller shutter triggers finally coming through now for Wham. Took him a while. I'll tell you what, it should almost be through at this stage. But what a smart decision by Wham to be going into that Fort of the Huntress. Now defends all of these villages quite easily on this top side. Not a lot of siege, or not a lot of like trebuchets, rams, that sort of thing. And now pushing underneath. He falls back away from that fight. Mangonel's pushing through. Springles on the bottom side, able to open up. He needs to wait until the roller shutter triggers. He cannot fight until the roller shutter triggers. Quickly, let's just check and see how long's he got. He's got 18 seconds. He needs to hold out for 18 seconds. Needs to continue fighting and kiting his way out of this one. Does not want the fight to begin just yet. You can see the Springles are running for dear life because he knows the moment the roller shutter triggers comes through that the game will turn. Springles now going to turn. Hit the Mangonel. He's bought himself enough time. Roller shutter triggers is now through. 1 second, and immediately the turns tabled so quickly. The moment this upgrade comes through, we can see that the damage is being done as well. Not only is he doing damage to the enemy units, he's also getting some damage here on these Springles, making their way over to the Fort of the Huntress. This could be it right now. This could be it. He's diving into the base. If he loses this entire army, he's going to be absolutely stuffed, but a big mango shot comes off, hits a couple cows, also hits a couple archers. Musafati got their elite upgrades. Archers don't have anything. Springles on the back, able to get some nice little shots off. Vil's going to get pulled. Could be able to find... Does he look to torch down the mangonels? He could potentially do that. Springles continue coming up. He's managed to take out most of them. Moving in underneath the town center. Elite upgrades for the archers has now come through as well. He's got absolutely everything elite. Keep in mind, he doesn't need incendiary arrows because he can't get them as the Malians. It is just simply the poison arrows, and that's going to be it. That is the game. He hit Imperial first and manages to take an amazing fight. Waited just long enough for that important upgrade and wins the game. Ladies and gentlemen, go check him out this weekend. EGC TV, Saturday and Sunday, 15 GMT. We'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.